My name is Jess. I'm a poet and I live in Liverpool. So first of all, thank you to We Want Women for having me here today. I'm just going to perform a few poems for you. I'm going to do a couple of short ones first, and then I'm going to do a slightly longer one at the end, which is a bit of a story. So I hope you enjoy. So this is the first poem. As we're getting close to Halloween, I thought I'd do a Halloween-themed poem, and this is about being ghosted. He holds hands like Casper, because she's far too slick. Her lust is love is suddenly a melted candle wick. Their thoughts of one another hang like winter months, but they kiss like Halloween, an ectoplasmic touch. They took hours preparing, pumpkins filled with sweets, but the sugar rush was much too much, the colour and the heat. No calls, no WhatsApp messages, confetti glittered in the street, and the ghosts had cut no eye holes where they left bed sheets. Okay. So the next poem I'm going to do is although I might seem like quite confident because I'm on a stage right now, I'm naturally quite introverted. And so I wrote a poem about introverts, and I did it sort of in the style of Dictionary of Obscure Sorrows. So I had the title over the top, and then it followed it as if the poem was a dictionary definition of being an introvert. So this is my personal definition of introverts. Dismiss me as a coffee-drinking, lonely cafe-dwelling people watcher. When sufficiently hyped, the mug drained clean, our eyes trace faces, asking what they've seen. Always in our heads, though, each soul sipping today is thinking of 1,000 things they will never say. It's the quiet contemplation that the lonely were taught. In life, we're coffee drinkers, but we're heroes in our thoughts. Don't roll your eyes with mirth, surmising introverts are tragic, because behind lips that rarely lift, there is a world of magic. Okay. So when the pandemic first began, I was writing a lot more poetry. And I remember being with my ex-boyfriend and running around Tesco thinking that we weren't going to be able to buy loads of things because the shelves were just disappearing rapidly. So I wrote this short poem called The Last Lemon in Liverpool. How strange our new fear that we can't trust our bodies. In 2020, the year loo roll was a rare commodity. Will summer be like a whisper in an empty street? All of us in lockdown stockpiling things to eat. Keep on sharing kindness when contact has to stop. And when life gives you lemons good, there's none left in the shops. Okay. This is another coronavirus poem because I've got friends that are all over the country and we tend to see each other quite often. I'd say like every couple of weekends or so, but we're quite separate at the moment and we've been like hanging out on Zoom and things like that. So this is a poem for them. As COVID puts us on two separate planes, I feel a small comfort that we're all sharing the rain. From Leeds to Manchester to London to Newcastle upon Tyne, I hope we raise our brollies at exactly the same time. Life is weird now and everything has changed, but trust British weather to remain the same. From Bristol to Sheffield and every city that I've missed, turn your face up to the sky and let your cheeks be kissed. And this is called Smile. I love that you're a positive person. You wake with a smile on your face. You make the best of it all, a beacon of patience and grace. But for once, can you just admit that like everyone, you feel a bit lost, that you wake with a smile on your face, but the news just slaps it right off? I can't help but wonder if you're masking how you feel, because I feel stuck in a fishbowl, a bubble, a life that's not real. And I know you'll say, chin up, love, but I haven't seen you in a while. We live in two separate households. Send me a picture of your smile. So sometimes I feel like you meet someone and it's just not the right time for either one of you or both of you. And this is a poem that's kind of about that, and it's called Peacock. What I like about you is you don't show off. You're proud of who you are and who you are not. I can already see you're a bit better than me. Your eyes are brighter, there's more that you see. When I talk, I just go blah, blah, blah. But when you speak, it's like your mouth is made of stars. And it annoys me when people offer their advice. But with you, I don't mind because you are so nice. And yeah, we could go out again, could get a drink or two. But honestly, I'd rather not get to know you. Because what if you turn out to be just like all the others? I'd rather just remember you and all your lovely colours. So I wrote this poem, this next one, after I made a new friend. It was this very outgoing American boy. And I'm like quite fairly outgoing, but like quite quiet and like reserved. And he would just literally like be singing at the bus stop, talking to anybody. And I'd be stood there like, I wish I could be a bit like that. Maybe not like singing at the bus stop degree, but a bit more like outgoing, just like be myself. And so I wrote this poem about the two opposites of our personality, and it's called Forest. For me, it's like everyone out there. Their eyes own the dawn. Their brows move the birds, and their words bring the storm. And it is so hard to look at someone's face when the whole of the sky hangs on what they say. My head is a merry-go-round. I try to find myself in all the spinning, but I'm left with ghosts and clowns. But you, your mind is a vault, your hair is barbed wire, and when you laugh, just like a child. And I've seen people come at you, their tongues like snakes, but that smile is your armor, and you will not break. I think of all these things we take home each day, how we decode, how we unfold, the things that people say, how we let them sit beneath our skin, the smallest of seeds. Only at home we speak of them and build them into trees. And I think of you and your history. You're the epitome of how life just isn't fair. But then you're dancing like you're drunk. You're singing at the bus stop and it's like you just don't care. In my house, there's only forests, endless leaves of night. But with you, the world opens its mouth of buried light. Take me out into your clearing where the trees open their eyes, drenched with sun and skin undone. Undress a life of lies. Our faces look so human, skin and scars shine in plain sight. It feels so good to leave the shaded leaves of the forest where I hide. So this is slightly longer. This is the last poem, and it is written after a date. I won't say too much more about it, but I hope you enjoy. It's called Same Sky. The ride rose slowly and held you in the air. And yes, his hand was empty, but still it was there, and so you grabbed it. 'Cause this is how dates go. And you love a roller coaster, but just not when they go slow. And your legs are draped loosely between space and between time. He shouts, "You can see the whole of London, look!" And you think, I'm probably going to die. I mean, whose idea was this to get on this stupid ride? It was yours, you realise. You just didn't know it went so high. And now the seatbelt feels too loose and you can barely see the ground and he can keep his view. You just want to get down. A pulsing throb, the metal jolts, and everybody screams. The darkness swims, the lights they come in fits of dancing beams. Like diving birds, you're soaring down, you're plunging through the world. Like whizzing stars, your age is lost and you feel like just a girl. You screech to a halt, and everybody sighs. You hold his hand some more and look into his eyes. And as dates go, it's going well. But then he makes a joke. And the cold seeps into once warm skin and wraps around your bones. He says, don't get me wrong. I'm always one for diversity, but it's just not how my army's meant to be. And he looks out, his mouth a sneer, and slow he licks his lips. It's only my opinion, but not everyone should mix. He says he's been a soldier now for 10 years today, and he can't look at people now in quite the same way. And another thing, he says, and another, and these things just keep on coming, though you barely know each other. And you think there's things that you can never really know. There's people you won't ever meet, there's places you won't go. But you've never heard anyone say things like this before, so you wonder if he's shaped by the hands of war. Because sometimes he fixes tanks and his mates go on attack and he waves them off while thinking, are they coming back? And you look out to see another boy, his tokens ready for the ride. And you think if roller coasters could take us back in time, would you see the hands that raised him take this baby bird and feed him worms and soil and the hatred of the world? Or is it that, when back at base, folding his uniform away, he counts one friend less than he started with that day? Or was he simply born this way? And he says people don't get it. They can never understand how it really feels to hold a weapon in your hands. But no, you know soldiers who've gone to the most dangerous of places, who still open their hearts to all religions and races. But you don't talk to him about it. You don't think that you can, especially when he says the army made me who I am. And in a lot of ways, you guess that's kind of true. He left school at 15 not knowing what to do, all his strings unraveling and nowhere to begin, until they gave him a uniform and it looked good on him. With open arms they said, this is a job for life. But where is that lifeline in the middle of the night when he jumps awake and grabs the dark, his breath a strangled scream? But when you ask, he tells you, oh, it was just a dream. And some things never work, even though you try. With your words and with your arms, by looking through his eyes. You can't shape rolling thunder, you can't calm the kind of guy who holds so tight he leaves flowers on your skin, who tosses you hoops in the games you'll never win. And in the time it takes to win his prize, kisses turn to sneers, chicks will hatch and birds will fly, and months turn into years. But back to the date. It's getting late. The city wants to sleep. It's a school night after all, it's a pretty busy week. And work is pretty busy and time isn't on your side. And if you can stop spinning, then this is your last ride. A static kick, screech to a halt. You face the London Eye, and she looks upon you both and says, you don't see the same sky. Thanks very much.